Upon arriving at that imposing mansion to fix a leak, Thierry had no suspicion whatsoever that his life was deeply intertwined with that of one of the residents. This reality unfolded before him when his eyes landed on a frame next to the bed, where a photo of him was carefully displayed. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. Thierry, a young man who was in a complex moment of his life, hovering in the delicate transition between the remnants of adolescence and the first steps of adulthood. The vastness of the future ahead of him seemed like a maze of uncertainties. Despite being surrounded by this challenging scenario, not a mere spectator of his own life, he understood that the time had come to face the responsibilities inherent to the imminent arrival of adulthood. The difficulties brought by inexperience made the job search a barren terrain for Thierry. The transition to adulthood was proving to be more cruel than he had anticipated, leaving him disillusioned and somewhat lost. One night, his family received for dinner an old friend of his father, César, a man whose presence always brought laughter and entertaining stories. César was known for his expansive personality and easygoing nature. As the dinner progressed in a climate of camaraderie, Thierry's father didn't miss the chance to mention his son's struggle in job hunting. César, who worked as a maintenance chief in one of the largest factories in the city, turned to Thierry with a benevolent smile. He shared that a helper position had recently opened up, thanks to a young man who had left for a new opportunity. And so, as a generous gesture coming directly from the hands of destiny, César offered the position to Thierry. Thierry didn't let the chance slip by. He accepted promptly, feeling that this was the opportunity for his entry into the professional world. The first days in the new job were not a smooth ride. Thierry soon realized that the role demanded more than he had initially imagined. César, with his experienced posture and keen eye for details, was there as a guide, leading Thierry to solve all kinds of problems that arose. The demands were diverse and varied, from the simplicity of changing a burnt-out bulb to the complexity of carrying out small repairs on equipment. Thierry was immersed in a whirlwind of responsibilities. The factory, with its endless corridors and imposing machinery, seemed like a labyrinth he was just beginning to decipher. The company revealed itself not only as a workplace, but also as an environment of continuous learning. The incentives offered for personal and professional development were excellent. Thierry took full advantage of these opportunities, participating in courses and training sessions that allowed him to refine his skills and specialize in his field. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and Thierry absorbed all the knowledge within his reach. As time passed, Thierry's story began to gain new chapters. He was no longer just an inexperienced assistant. He had transformed into an active employee who was fundamental to the maintenance department. After months of tireless dedication to his career in the company, Thierry was finally reaping the rewards of his efforts. It was time to celebrate these achievements, to allow himself a moment of pause and joy. An invitation from a friend arrived like a breath of fresh air, an opportunity to dive into a relaxed environment. The party promised to be a special occasion, to be held at a trendy seaside restaurant. Thierry accepted the invitation. It was time to allow himself a moment of leisure and socialization. On the night of the party, Thierry and his friends entered the venue and were soon immersed in an environment decorated with a beach theme, full of vibrant colors and contagious energy. The dance floor was filled with young people moving in sync with the beats of the live band playing the most popular songs of the moment. While everyone around him seemed to be enjoying the party, Thierry found himself in a different space. His mind was used to being in constant motion, always focused on his goals and professional growth plans. Even amidst the excitement of the party, he couldn't prevent his mind from continuing to revolve around his goals. He looked around and realized that, although he was physically present at the party, his mind was somewhere else. With a sigh, Thierry realized he needed a moment of peace. He looked towards the beach, where the waves gently lapped against the sand. As he walked along the shore, his thoughts were interrupted by a glimpse of movement. A young woman was crouched on the sand, examining something attentively. Thierry approached quietly, not wanting to startle her. However, when he made an involuntary noise, the girl turned with a look of surprise. Embarrassed by his abrupt entrance, Thierry smiled shyly and apologized. He introduced himself, and the young lady, with a friendly smile, also introduced herself as Julia. She explained that she had been at the party, but had gone out for a walk on the beach and accidentally dropped her ring in the sand. Thierry promptly joined Julia in the search for the lost ring. As their hands dug through the sand in search of the precious object, their conversations flowed naturally. Now and then their fingers would touch, almost involuntarily, as they rummaged through the sand trying to find the ring. However, after a thorough and determined search, both had to admit defeat. The ring seemed to have disappeared completely in the vastness of the sand. Nevertheless, this apparent defeat did not diminish the energy of the moment. The conversation between the two young people continued to flow, engulfing them in such a way that time seemed to lose its meaning. The magical aura was only interrupted by the arrival of Julia's friends, who broke the bubble that surrounded them. "Julia, we have been looking for you everywhere. We need to leave," they said, bringing back the reality of the advancing night. Before parting ways, aware that the night had created a special connection, Thierry and Julia exchanged phone numbers. As Julia was walking away, she had a last-minute impulse. She turned back to Thierry and shyly asked if they could take a photo together, to eternalize the moment. The two of them moved closer, their faces nearly touching, and Julia captured the moment with her cell phone. Thierry and Julia smiled for the camera, but there was something more in their eyes. Shortly after Julia had left, Thierry also felt that it was time to end the night. With this thought in mind, he headed back to the party location, where his friends were still celebrating and having fun. As he walked back towards the party, one last glance at the beach made him notice something shining in the sand. His eyes fixed on a small, glimmering object. He approached, his heart beating a bit faster as he realized what it was: Julia's ring, the same one they had searched for so tirelessly. With Julia's ring in his hand, Thierry saw the perfect opportunity to reconnect with the young woman who had moved him so much. Despite their busy schedules and daily commitments, they found precious time to talk. Each call was an opportunity to get to know each other more deeply, to explore their passions, dreams, and aspirations. The hours flew by. Finally, the anticipated encounter took place the following weekend. Thierry brought not only Julia's ring but also a bouquet of flowers. As soon as their eyes met, an instant smile formed on both of their lips. The ensuing hug was long and tight. Time passed in the blink of an eye, and before they knew it, it was time to say goodbye again. They hugged again, promising to talk every day until the next meeting. As Julia's car became just a distant dot on the horizon, Thierry closed his eyes for a moment, reliving the memories that had been created that day. And so reality imposed itself upon the dream. The alarm clock rang, and Thierry found himself forced to leave behind the memories of those magical moments. As every day, he got up early and prepared to face another workday. Upon arriving at the company, he was greeted by César, his boss. Thierry listened attentively as César explained the special task he had reserved for him that day. A broken faucet at the company owner's house was causing a leak, and Thierry, with his expertise in plumbing, was the natural choice to fix the issue. Thierry was amazed by the size of the mansion upon his arrival. It was an impressive building, radiating elegance and wealth. As he identified himself at the entrance, he was led up the stairs to the upper floor, where the leak needed to be addressed. He was escorted to one of the rooms in the house where the leak was causing problems. Thierry entered the room respectfully, trying to be discreet and aware of the luxurious environment surrounding him. He went straight to the bathroom where the faucet problem was located. After some time, Thierry finally managed to fix the faucet. The leak was stopped and the sound of water ceased. As he was preparing to leave the suite after completing the repair, something unexpected caught his attention. A photo, carefully framed and placed on a piece of furniture beside the bed, was of himself. It was the photo he had taken with Julia on the day they met by the sea. A wave of surprise and perplexity enveloped him. Julia, the charming girl he had met, and with whom he had shared such special moments, was probably the company owner's daughter. Thierry quickly left the suite and descended the stairs. He didn't want to risk encountering Julia there. He felt out of place in his work uniform in front of the grandeur of the house and the circumstances. While driving back to the company, Thierry was immersed in his own thoughts. He had always known there was a difference in their social positions, but the magnitude of this disparity was something he had never imagined. As he drove, Thierry revisited his memories with Julia. He realized that, from the beginning, he had never hidden his background as a worker from her. He remembered the conversations they had, the laughter they shared, and how she always seemed genuinely interested in him. This memory brought him comfort. He knew there was an important factor to consider, the possibility that she was the daughter of the company's owner. But as he organized his thoughts, he began to notice something that reassured him. Julia had never shown any sign that their social differences mattered to her. She never seemed to care about what he did for a living. She valued him for who he was. With his mind clearer, he finally decided to tell Julia that it was he who had fixed the faucet at her house. Julia's reaction was instant, and her laughter echoed through the phone. She found the whole situation extremely funny. The coincidence that he, the man she had met by the seaside, had fixed a faucet in her house. Thierry felt a profound relief upon hearing her laugh, feeling that the weight he had been carrying was being lifted. As they talked, Julia quickly made it clear that the whole social issue didn't affect her. She shared her beliefs that what truly mattered was who Thierry was as a person, his aspirations, and his determination to progress. She knew he was a hard-working individual, carving his own path to success. Julia's declaration brought a new wave of strength to Thierry. He felt a renewed motivation to continue dedicating himself, both in his career and in his relationship with her. Thierry continued to advance in his career, dedicating himself to his work with renewed passion. Julia was by his side, encouraging him with each achievement and comforting him in moments of difficulty. Together, they discovered that true greatness lies not in material possessions, but in the journey they shared. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.